Elon bought Twitter and was already a big reader of Substacks, apparently. And I think I've heard through a different source that he sort of saw Substack as like Twitter's paywall at the moment, at that time.
Mm.
And subscriptions were a big part of his future plans for Twitter. And a lot of people at that time were saying Twitter should buy Substack. Substack should be part of the Twitter ecosystem, because a lot of people would find readers on Twitter that would then jump over to their Substacks and subscribe to them. Then was already becoming less true than it had been in the past. There was a hot moment where people would jump from Twitter to Substack, but over time, as Twitter is focused on keeping everyone glued in their own feed, that has become less true.
I mean, it
Um,
was definitely for myself in my first couple of years. It was the major growth
yeah,
source of new subscribers. So it came from Twitter at that
it
point.
used to be really symbiotic.
Yeah.
Even before Elon, that was on the decline because they started deprioritizing uh, people leaving the feed. Basically, it just doesn't like
Mhm.
on a business model level, because their business model, it just doesn't make sense for them to like let people leave the feed really. And so I'd be surprised if that ever comes back. Instagram and Facebook were already like in that position for years, just the way that social media business models work. I don't know if he even knew I was involved with the company. Chris is the CEO of Substack and had been talking to him on a sort of get to know you basis. And then we were planning to launch Notes, which is the discovery and discussion feed that anchors the app. And we were giving him a polite heads up the day before that came out to say, we're going to launch this tomorrow. People might say it's kind of like a Twitter killer. That's not what we're intending it to do. We just want to help give Substack writers and publishers a way to get discovered within the Substack ecosystem. After we gave him the heads up that it was coming, Chris sent him a text. He immediately got Chris on a call and offered him the role of CEO of Twitter. Because at that time, Elon was saying, I'm not going to be the CEO, I'm going to be the chairman, and I need to bring in a CEO. And he said, Substack should join Twitter and you can be the CEO, Chris.
So we proposed a merger
He
or
was
buyout.
proposing an acquisition and
Yeah.
installing Chris as the CEO, which is like pretty attractive and interesting idea. Like, what if we got to run Twitter in the way that we wanted to, and we could take advantage of that big network of users to help strengthen Substack? But we're focused on launching this thing the next day, which is a big focus for us, Notes. And we weren't about to make the decision in an afternoon about whether or not we were going to sell the company to Elon Musk. We sort of said we can't think about that right now, because he wanted to bring Chris in and do a bunch of meetings with people on the site.
So when he said I want to buy you, it means like I want to buy you this hour, like
Yeah, pretty much.
today.
Well, like agree to do this, and we're like, well, we're not going to agree right now. We said, well, we're just going to focus. We need to launch this thing tomorrow, so we can't like do these follow up calls. And I think he just sort of took that as a no. And the next day we launched Notes, and there was a huge furore on Twitter about this being the Twitter killer coming from Substack.